Hello and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Jessica McDonald and I am a knitting pattern designer. If you are new here, hello and welcome to my little knitting podcast. I hope you enjoy seeing what I'm knitting and hearing about my design process. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I am so happy to have you all here so I can talk to you about knitting. So if you want to see all of my previously published designs, they are on Ravelry. My username there is Jessica M Knits, and also on my website www.jessicamcdonalddesigns.com. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I am at Jessica M Knits on there. And if you want to sign up for my newsletter, I will put a link in the description box below so you can go sign up. My newsletter is the best place to be if you like my designs because you will hear all about all my new designs. You won't miss any of my new releases and you will always get the best discount on all of my newly published designs. So I'm talking about newly published designs. I'm going to publish a new design next Tuesday. Today is Monday, August 2nd, and on Tuesday, August 10th, I'm going to be releasing this sweet little sweater. It's called Skift. This one is for babies and children. It's sized from 3 months old all the way up to 12 years old. It's designed with beginning colorwork knitters in mind. All of the motifs are really simple and easy to memorize. All of the floats are short. There's no float longer than 3 stitches, which a shorter float means it's a lot easier to manage your tension as you're knitting, which makes it a lot easier for beginning colorwork knitters to knit. And all of the increases are worked in the plain main color rounds between the motifs, so you don't have to keep track of increases and colorwork in the same round. So it's very easy to knit. And then you also get this adorable little sweater that has a very classic look. Very appealing. So I'm going to do a giveaway of this pattern. So I'm going to give away 1 copy of this pattern to a winner. In order to enter this giveaway, you need to subscribe to my channel here, like this video, and comment down below what color you would use to knit your skift out of. So like, subscribe, and tell me what colors you would use. And then on Monday, the 9th, August 9th, I will choose a winner, and then I can either gift the pattern to you on Ravelry or just email you the PDF, whatever your choice is. I know not everybody likes to use Ravelry, so however you choose to do it. So a giveaway for a copy of this sweet little sweater pattern, which will be coming out on Tuesday. And if you want to make sure you don't miss it, just in case you don't win, you can sign up for my newsletter. You will be the first to hear about it and you'll get the best discount. So there's my upcoming release. And exciting news, so many people really loved this design, just absolutely loved it. My test knitters and just people on Instagram who've seen it have loved it so much that they asked for an adult version. So an adult version is happening. This skift is being done in collaboration with Bare Naked Wools. It uses their Better Breakfast DK. So I reached out to them and said, everybody wants a grown-up version, so can you send me more yarn? And they did. A whole pile of it. Here's a wound skein. Now this is the same contrast, it's the same colors as this one. But this is the one skein of contrast color. I used very little for this sweater. This is size 2, this fits 8 in. So this is size 2 and it used so little yarn that I have enough of the contrast color left over. I'll easily be able to make an adult sized yoke out of this much yarn. So I just had them send me more of the main color. And on Wednesday, my kids are going to Grandma's house for the afternoon, so I'm going to write the pattern for the grown-up skift. Here, I'll show you the yarn that it uses. I'm gonna move my face. Bare Naked Wools, Better Breakfast DK. It's a beautiful, beautiful, soft yarn. It's very warm. It's got a nice drape to it. It's a mix of merino and de-haired alpaca, so it doesn't have the halo and irritation factor. some people can't wear alpaca. Like I can't wear alpaca because the halo is irritating. But if the de-haired alpaca doesn't have that halo, it has a little bit of a halo, but it doesn't have the huge hairy halo of alpaca. So this is not irritating. I've had this pressed against my skin quite a bit just to make sure it's not irritating. It's just soft and warm and a little bit drapey and silky. It's fantastic yarn. So I'm really looking forward to having mine, which I will start knitting on later this week as soon as I get the pattern written. I'm going to make one minor change to the design. So this is baby sized, so the yoke would only be, you know, super shallow for an adult. So it'll only go to there. So I'm going to add more color work to the yoke for the adult version. But other than that, it will be the same basic principle. I'm going to make sure it's something really simple and easy to knit, easily memorized, so that the grown-up version is just as beginner friendly as the kid version. So that's my August knitting plans right there. Not all of my August knitting plans, but part of it. So there's the first thing I was going to show you, and now I'm going to move into showing you my works in progress. I was really hoping to have 2 finished objects to show you today. I really wanted to have these sweaters done at the end of July, but I just couldn't get it done. So I have 2 whips. Here's this one. This is a cabled pullover. It's sunny, so I think I'm getting a little bit bright and blown out. This is a cabled pullover knit in ampersand fibers Jensen DK. This yarn, the color is Shield 3. It's their green, the green shade is the darkest of the greens. This yarn is made for cables, just absolutely made for cables. And look how stunning this texture is. Look at this, just, maybe it is all blown out. I'm trying to move my head so you can see. Hang on, I'm gonna close this blind a little bit. Maybe now it's not so bright. Maybe you can see that better now. I think we're still a little bright. I don't know how to adjust the light settings on my camera, and we're having a lot of thunderstorms come through. It's actually been really, really wet these last few days, and there is another big black cloud on its way, so the sun will be gone in a few minutes. So this is Jensen DK. It is a 100% US made Corridel yarn, and just perfect for texture. It's not itchy or prickly at all. It doesn't have a soft feeling like merino does, but it's not itchy or prickly. Putting it on my neck's my most sensitive part of my body. It's not itchy or prickly. It doesn't have an overly rustic feel to it, but if you're used to like a superwash merino or something like that, or like a baby soft yarn, it might feel a bit rustic to you, but it really isn't very rustic at all. But it's perfect for cables. I have seen quite a few projects made out of this yarn on Instagram, just floating around the internet, and whenever it's used for texture or cables, it just absolutely sings. It's amazing. If you want to make something cabled in a DK weight yarn, you should get this yarn to make it out of, because it is just awesome for cables. It also comes in a fingering weight version, which I'm assuming is going to be just as fantastic for texture and cables, but I don't have experience knitting with it. It's the same yarn, just in a lighter weight. This is the DK weight. So once again, ampersand fibers Jensen DK. I'll put a link to it in the description box below. So this sweater is now, the body is now done. As you can see, it's bottom up, so the body is now done. I'm really bright, so it's to here. I am now at a standstill because I haven't written the yoke part yet. I haven't had time to do that yet, so I got to the underarm and I am stuck here for a minute. My kids are fighting. Hang on. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I am a work-at-home mother of 4 small children, the youngest of which is napping. The other 4 are watching a show. It's kind of hard to find time to do things like this, like recording a podcast and whatnot, so I just do it with them in the house, and sometimes it doesn't always go smoothly. So back to this one. I was telling you that the body is now done. So this is up to the underarm, and I don't have the yoke written yet, so I'm kind of at a standstill here for a few days until I get that done. I originally did not buy enough yarn. So this used 3 skeins of yarn. This whole body, this is 16 inches long. It used 3 skeins of yarn. I have 2 full skeins left. 2 full skeins and then an itty bitty little bit of the 3rd skein. And I expect the yoke will take about a skein and a half. So that leaves me half a skein of yarn to do the sleeves, which obviously is not enough to do the sleeves. So before I sat down to record here, I ordered 1 more skein of yarn of this yarn. So that should give me enough for the sleeves. I don't know why I only bought 5 skeins. I usually buy 6 no matter what, and unless you know it's different than usual yardage. But I don't know why I only bought 5 skeins. That was a silly choice. I should have just bought 6 to begin with, because there really isn't anything wrong with having extra yarn. Yarn is a good thing. But it's terrible to run out, so yeah. I really don't think that I will get through knitting the next 2 skeins before the 3rd one shows up. It should be here later this week, so anyway. This one's not named. I have no idea what to name it. It might be something related to a tree. I have been going through a big tree phase with all of my knitting this year. I was kind of tossing around the idea of naming it something like evergreen, but I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah. This one, I want to release this pattern this fall. I'm hoping for November, but since I didn't get it finished by the end of July, I might not make November. It might end up being a January release. But if you like it, sign up for my newsletter and you won't miss it. There is another detail I want to show you on this. So it's got a split hem. Here's the that's a side view. It's got a split hem. Try to lay this so I can show you. I fiddled and fiddled with this. It's got my hair all over it, I'm sorry. I fiddled and fiddled with this edging to make sure that it's nice and neat, because I really hate it when edging doesn't have a nice, neat edge. I'm gonna change the focus. There we go. So you can see that it's really nice and neat. I slipped the first stitch purl-wise, and that just kind of rolls it over. So I slipped the first stitch, and then the first one on each side is a knit stitch. So that gives me a really nice, neat, clean edge here on both sides. They're all identical. All of the edges are identical, which I don't know if that's something people pay any attention to with a knitting pattern, but I really like it when the ribbings are nice and neat and all the edgings show some attention to detail. So I messed with that, and it looks really nice and neat. Yeah, so there's this one. That's 1 FO. Hopefully I will be able to finish it by the end of next week. I don't know if I'll be able to finish by the end of this week at this point, because the yoke and 2 sleeves is quite a bit to knit, especially considering that I also need to get this one done. So this one is being called my Summer Adventure Sweater. It also is not named yet. I've been taking this one along whenever we go somewhere and do something fun, so it's my adventure sweater. It now has a sleeve, and the second sleeve is begun, just a few inches done here. But I am going to rip out the entire collar and redo it, so that will take a long time. I'm going to put this on to show you how it looks. I'm going to get tangled in my yarn. So this one is knit in Naughty Pine Co. Laramie Range Worsted. This is the color Whiskey River. And it's showing up a little bit yellow on screen. A little bit yellower than it is in real life. So here it is. It fits really well. It sits really nice on the shoulders, which for raglan shaped sweaters, one of the main concerns is that the back neck stretches out and it just slides off your shoulders, but it's not doing that. It's fitting really, really nice. It's sitting really nice on my shoulders. And it's just plain simple, top down, raglan sleeve shawl collar cardigan, but it's got these details, so you can see there's some garter stitch along the raglan lines, and then garter rib cuffs, nice long garter rib cuffs. I love a long cuff. And then, oh, I kicked my camera. Then the hem is also garter rib. So it's very simple, but it's got all these little garter stitch details, which just make it really squishy and fantastic. The one issue that I have with this cardigan is the shawl collar is not big enough at all. So how I originally did this is there is some slight V neck shaping here in the yoke. So I started here. You can see I started right here at the bottom of the V, and then I just worked as many short rows as I could working it every other stitch up until here, and it's not big enough. It's a fine enough collar if you're looking for something simple and distinguished, but I wanted something massive and cozy and squishy and amazing, and it's just not that. So I'm gonna rip the whole thing out, and I'm going to change the collar, which if you watched my Instagram live from last week, I did say I didn't think I had enough yarn to do a huge collar, because this collar as it is took nearly an entire skein of yarn, and I thought I only had one more, like 1 and a partial left, but I found another skein that was hiding under some other yarn. So I'll have enough yarn to do whatever I want with it. So you can see, now it's getting darker again. You can see the turns here. So I started at the bottom, and then every turn went up this way, which puts the turn side of things along this line, and it gives you this wedge here, but it makes this kind of line that shows up when you fold it over. So you can see it's here, and you can see that, and I don't really like that. I guess you could kind of scooch it like that and it wouldn't show, but I don't really like that. So I think that is because I started at the bottom and worked up. So when I rip this collar out and start over, I'm going to start working the turns at the top of the shoulder and work my way down. And then this line of turns should be right along the edge here, and then it will be invisible when you fold it over. So you won't have this line here. So that's what I'm thinking. Plus, then I can just go and go and go on short rows as low as I want to go until the collar is completely, outrageously enormous. I want a huge collar, huge, absolutely huge. Another thing is you can see I've stopped the turns right here, so that's in line with the front side of the shoulder. I think when I rip the collar out and start over, I'm going to start the short rows in line with the back side of the shoulder, which will give me about 3 or 4 more turns, which isn't a huge amount, but I'm going to try that and see how I like that, because it's not very wide at the top of the shoulder, so instead of coming from here, I would come from here, so it's just a little short distance. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but they're fighting again. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. My kids are all tired and a little bit cranky because we went camping this last weekend, so they didn't get proper sleep. But we actually got rained out. It was really wet, It's been really wet this last weekend, and even still today it's really wet. It's just constant thunderstorms coming through and constant rain. So when we were camping, we didn't check the weather before we went, which was a big mistake. It was just drizzling the whole time. And so everything was just wet and soaked. And there was just this huge thunderstorm that just massive downpour for like 20 or 30 minutes. And after the end of that, our tent was in a puddle, just like, it was like a waterbed underneath, and the seams started leaking and the roof started leaking. And our entire campsite was just a giant puddle. So we ended up leaving a day early because everything was just wet. Our sleeping bags were wet. Everybody's clothes was already wet because it'd been raining the whole time. So it's just been wet these last 4 days. But my kids are still tired from camping because they don't go to sleep until like 10 o'clock at night, and their usual bedtime is 7:30, 8 o'clock. So it's pretty exhausting for them to go camping. So they're in a bad mood. Now, back to the sweater. I was telling you about the shawl collar. So I was telling you that I am planning to start the turns back here on the back shoulder instead of at the front shoulder where I've got them now. And then I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to work my way down. I'm not sure how far down I'm going to go. I want the front, so this front bit just along the body, to be 2 inches deep. So yeah, I think I'm going to start up here and I'm just going to work turns, and I'm going to go past where the end of the V shaping stops, and I might go all the way down below my bust. I can't see if I'm sitting, so about here, and end the turns about there below my bust, and see how I like it then, because that will be much wider. It'll give me this like turns all through here instead of turns through here. So we'll get like twice as many short row turns in this collar, which should make it significantly larger. But then I was also thinking that I might write a blog post telling you how to modify it to your tastes in case it ends up so huge that most people don't like it. I want a huge collar. I want a huge, cozy, squishy collar. This yarn is really soft and really squishy. It is Rambouillet, so it's really soft, and it's not as soft as merino, but it's incredibly soft, and it's got a really fluffy texture to this yarn, the way that it's spun. So it's just an absurdly cozy yarn. Like, this is an amazing cozy yarn. So I wanted to have a really huge shawl collar that would just be amazingly cozy. You just like cuddle up in it when it's cold, because it's cold here. So that's what I want, a giant shawl collar. That's what I'm going for on this, but I know not everybody loves a giant shawl collar. My mom rolls her eyes at me. It's like, when are you going to design a real sweater with buttons and not that silly collar thing? I'm like, never, Mom, never. So I just love shawl collar cardigans too much. I'm not putting buttons on it. If you wanted to put buttons on it, you could. I'm not planning to, but it would be easy enough to put buttons in it if you want to. I like open front cardigans. I just like them a lot. It's just my favorite thing. So that's what I'm gonna make, because I'm gonna wear this sweater to pieces. I just absolutely love it. It's really simple, really squishy, really warm and cozy, and this color goes with basically everything in my wardrobe. I wear a lot of blue and green and gray, and it goes really well with those colors. So this is a chambray shirt underneath, so you can see it looks really nice with that. So yeah, that's what I'm going for with this sweater. Something incredibly squishy and cozy. I also meant to have this one done at the end of July. As you can see, it's not, so I'm way behind. But I will be knitting on this one for the next couple days until I finish writing my green sweater pattern. So I've had these two sweaters on the go basically all summer, and how it works is I knit on this one when I'm in the car or we go camping or we go do something fun, and then I knit on this one at home because it's a little more complicated. I kind of have to look at what I'm doing every once in a while, whereas stockinette I can knit without looking at. So it's perfect for car knitting and all that stuff. So I've had these two sweaters going all summer long at the same time, just kind of have their own individual purpose for my knitting lifestyle. So this one's almost done. Maybe by the end of the week it'll be done. I'm going to try to just finish it and get it done because I want to be able to release this one this fall, and it's nearly there. Just the sleeve. You see I've got the first few inches of it. If I sat down and knit on it for like 3 hours, it'd probably be done. And then the shawl collar is going to take a really long time because it's going to be absolutely massive, but that's okay. I did have somebody talk about how they had a bad experience with a short row shawl collar and it didn't turn out very well. But this one shouldn't be bad if you've had trouble with a short row shawl collar before, because it's garter stitch. So you're just knitting every row, so you don't have to worry about knits and purls. And then I also use the German short rows, which are so easy to do. I should make a tutorial. On how to do German short rows. Maybe I'll do that. But you can see how you can see, because it's in garter stitch, so you can see where the row starts and stops, but you can't see anything having to do with the short row itself. Like there's no bar. Like if you mess up a wrap and twist one, you get this funny little bar, which I've done. So it's really easy to do these ones in garter stitch, so don't be intimidated by that. So there's the summer adventure sweater. Also going to be coming out this fall. I am going to come up with a better name than that. My husband suggested I could name it Burnt Aspen. I don't know if that will be the name or not. I don't know. I was also thinking I might name it Muldoon, because when we went camping this last weekend, we drove a little ways up a place called Muldoon Canyon, and my husband took some pictures of me standing with Muldoon Canyon in the background. I was like, well, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll name it Muldoon, but I don't know. I need to have a name brainstorm for these two sweaters this month and figure out a proper name for them. So anyway, there's my whips. And then I have some more knitting plans. I think I'll show to you now. So I've got this lovely pile of linen yarn, perfect for going into fall, right? This lovely pile of linen yarn that's kind of still too bright, even though clouds come back. I don't know what's going on. But this is Quince & Co. Kestrel. I'll show you the tag. Quince & Co. Kestrel. And I'm on low battery, so hopefully this doesn't die before I get done here. This is the color Senza, which is a light oyster color, I would like to say. Yeah, not quite almond oyster, I think is probably a pretty good description of it. So this is going to become a tank top with a lace panel in the front, and that's all I'm going to tell you for now. You will have to come back next time to see more. Hopefully by the time I do another podcast, I will have a little bit to show you. But this is going to be coming out next summer, so not anytime soon. Next summer sometime, I don't know exactly when, just sometime next summer, in Quince & Co.'s next, I'm not sure if it's in a summer collection or a linen collection, but it's in one of their collections that they will put out next summer. And this design was selected to go in it, which I'm very excited for. This one is going to be gorgeous. It's going to be gorgeous. And I'm really excited to knit with this yarn. It's an Aran weight linen. It's so soft. It's so soft. Just feeling it. And it's got this little, hang on, let me focus on it. It's got a weird, looking at my eye, kind of weird. Hang on. Hang on, come on. You can do it. You can do it. There we go. It's got this interesting construction where it's like a little chain, a little knitted chain almost. So I'm really excited to knit with it and see how it feels on my hands, because when I knit Wyathia with Shibui Knits Reed, I couldn't knit it for too long at one time where it would make my hands sore. So I'm kind of wondering if this chain construction has maybe a little more flexibility in it, which will be easier on the hands. So I'm curious as to that. But even if linen does hurt your hands, you can still knit with linen. Just knit for 20 or 30 minutes and then take a break. That's what's basically my best advice for knitting with linen if it's hurting your hands. So that's coming out next summer. Very excited for this. So hopefully by the next time I see you guys, I'll have this sweater done and my green one done and named even, and then my grown-up skift off the needles as well. That's a lot of knitting. I better get to it, huh? My gardening has kind of cooled off a bit. I've got all my fall stuff planted. Basically all I'm doing at this point is picking things and eating them. There's not a lot of weeding that I have to do because they're well under control, so I have a lot more knitting time. I need to get everything done before school starts in September because I will be doing school. I'm a homeschooling mom. I homeschool our kids, so that takes a lot of time. It's not like I send them off to school for most of the day and have all that working time. No, I'm homeschooling them. Our books came this last weekend and my daughters were so excited that they immediately sat down and started working on their first lesson of math. It's like, it's summer. It's summer. They love school. My almost 6-year-old has asked to do school on her birthday as a special treat. I love summer break. They love school. I'm glad they love learning. I'm glad they're eager to learn and they're very excited for it because it makes my job a lot easier. So anyway, don't forget, that's the back, this is the front. Don't forget to enter the giveaway for Skift. So like this video, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below what color you would use to make it out of. Yeah, if you want to see the back, this is what the back looks like. The beginning of the round is here in the center back, so you can see there's a little jog in the color work in the center back. It's got to be somewhere, and I find the center back is the least noticeable place. So enter the giveaway for Skift. Aiden's already been wearing it, so you can see the sleeves are a little wrinkled. Like, subscribe, comment, tell me what colors you would make it out of, and I will pick a winner next Monday, August 9th, and the pattern will be out on the 10th. And sign up for my newsletter. Make sure you don't miss any of my new patterns, any of the sweaters I'm working on, or this one coming out next week. You'll get the best discount as well. And I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for coming here and for sticking with me through all of my grumpy children. And until next time, you guys, I am happy knitting, and I hope you have a fantastic last little bit of summer. Unless you're in the southern hemisphere, which you're about to have summer. I'm a bit jealous. Anyway, bye guys.